Hello. All right. Nice to be here. I come from Brighton, that's where I live. Done this for a few years. Had a job. Worked in a job centre for a long time, which was exciting. The only fun thing about working in a job centre is when a disaster happens somewhere in the world, because we used to do a minute silence out of respect. And I used to love that because the managers never locked the door first. And you get a lot of quite fucked up people coming in job centres. They used to walk in off the street and think time had stopped. Everyone would be stood like... We were in the middle of a minute silence once and a drug addict walked in, he saw everyone standing around still and he went, "I've got a sign on, what the fuck's going on?" And I said to him, "We're having a minute silence, sir." And I swear to you, he said this, "Oh, fucking hell! How long's that going to take?" The managers were too strict. The managers would insist I asked everybody how their job search was going. It's a rude question to ask people, because often you look at people, you could tell like how it was going. Like, there's one guy called him to sign on, he'd take about a minute to get to my desk. It was out of his face. He just went, and he'd sit down and he'd be dribbling and just like, "I just want to sign on and go, but I don't feel well." And I've got to say, "How's your job search going?" He's dribbling, it's not going well. And I used to work with another guy called Nigel, and Nigel say, "You know what he needs? A bloody good slap." It's not going to help Nigel. I think his problems run deeper. It would be amazing if that worked. Can you imagine? Oh, actually, do you have anything in admin? You just slapped out my drug addiction, my mental illness, and my abusive childhood. Can you slap in some happy memories and qualifications? Yes. So it's a shitty job. I never had a good job. I wasn't very clever at school. Dyslexic's what they called me. I don't like that term very much. Teachers would sell it to me and say, "Michael, you have a condition called dyslexia, which actually means you're very intelligent. You just can't show it in any way, shape or form." And I've got a baby now, and I look at her thinking, "Oh, I hope you haven't got it. It's a tough life." She's dribbling, but I think that's like normal. I had a baby with my girlfriend Lucy a little while back. She's my girlfriend. We're not married. We've got some quite traditional people in our family, and it upsets them that we're not married. So that's how we keep it. It makes us laugh. They sidled. Well, I got sidled up to before we had the baby. They said, "Michael, we did think with Lucy expecting, you might have popped the question." So I did. I said, "Are we keeping it?" The birth was fun. Lucy had to be induced, so we took her to Brighton Hospital, lived down in Brighton, and she had to be induced. They said we got into the hospital. They said, "We do a new thing now. You take the inducement medication, you go home, you go into labour at home, and you come in when you feel ready." And Lucy said, "I wanted that to be so much more relaxed. Labouring at home would be more relaxed." I was thinking, "I bloody won't be. I'll be on my own with you." But she insisted, so we went home, and about 9 o'clock that evening, she just went, "Ah!" She was leaning up against the bed, going, "Ah, ah." I said, "Are you all right? Are you relaxed?" She said, "No, put some relaxing music on." So I grabbed her iPad and I wrote in relaxing music and I wrote in nature, and this kind of like whale music came on, and she said, "Leave me alone, I want to be alone." So I went off into the living room. Bloody YouTube, when it finishes something, it just moves on to whatever it wants to. It was vaguely related to what you typed in, because about half an hour later I heard this, "Michael!" and I ran into the bedroom. YouTube had moved on to a documentary about how to taxidermy a crow. A man cutting into a bird and pulling guts out, and she was going, "Turn it off!" I was trying to get around her to grab the thing, but she was like, "You still," and I couldn't give her. My heart was beating. I was like, "Lucy, I want to go back to the hospital. Are you coming?" So I rang them back. I said, "Can we come back now?" And they said, "No, we're full." They didn't warn me they were going to do that. They gave our bloody space away. I had to ring round like Mary and Joseph trying to find somewhere to have this fucking kid. And they sent us this place called Haywards Heath, so I had to drive her there. We got put into this cubicle, and a woman came and examined her and just went, No, that's not dilated enough. Take her home." You're joking. It was really hard getting her. No, take her home. And this woman walked out the cubicle. My girlfriend got off the bed. Her waters broke at this point. I thought waters breaking was going to be an angelic baby fountain. It's not like that at all. It's more like tsunami waters. There's quite a lot more debris than I was expecting. So anyway, sorry. So anyway, this woman walked back into the cubicle. She saw all this mess all over the floor, and she just looked at me and said, "You going home then?" And I'm not proud of this, but right in front of my girlfriend, I said, "I am not putting that in the car." I meant the scene, I didn't mean her, obviously. But anyway, they let us stay, and we went into this birthing room thing to have the baby. A couple of things happened during the birth I wasn't expecting. Like, I didn't want to be business end. I didn't want to see the baby coming out because I'm too squeamish. There were two midwives. There was a trainee one and a normal one. The trainee one had massive glasses on, so it didn't matter. I saw everything reflected, which is worse. But what I didn't know about childbirth, and we did a course, no one warned me this, that last bit, when they're going push, push, and the baby's coming out, if the girl runs out of energy, the contraction stops, the baby goes back in again. I didn't know that. We had about 2 hours of... Push, push, that's it. No, sorry, not this time. You're going to be a daddy. Not fucking yet, you're not. So, finally, bloody thing came out. My daughter. I got to cut the cord. They bleed. That was another shock. I didn't know they bled. I was like, just seen too much horror. Then we did have a small complication. Lucy stopped having contractions, and the doctor came and said, right, we need to remove the placenta surgically. But the other end of the cord was still hanging out of her, so can't you just pull it? But apparently you can't. It's all attached to things. I'd have yanked it, and her eyeballs would have gone... Just pulled this sack out with 2 eyes on the end, like I pulled a badger inside out or something. So there we were. The little baby, and my mum came and she cried. She cried because an auntie had died years ago and was never going to see the baby. She does that when something nice happens. Oh, this person will never see the baby. And I'd not slept for 2 days, and I just went, yeah, but she was a bitch, mum. She was a bit of a pain, this woman. She was like a bit of a snob. She was a grammar Nazi as well. She used to correct how I spoke all the time. She goes, speak properly, Michael. It's like fingernails down a blackboard to me when you don't speak properly. It's not with who, it's with whom. Which is things that didn't make any sense. You say, Auntie, will you come with me to the shop? Speak properly, Michael. It's not will you come with me to the shop. It's a shop to come me will you with. It's like fingernails down a blackboard to me. When she died, she was laying in her coffin. I ran my fingernails down her face. She was a bitch. And I do think... if someone dies and no one in the family liked them, you should have fun with their body. You should just bury it. Have people saying things like, oh, I heard about Joyce. Did you have her buried or cremated? Catapulted, actually. Yeah, we took her down the seafront. They've got a bungee cage, and we just lay her on that and ping the alcohol into the sea. So, buried at sea, I suppose, but cremated as well. So we poured petrol on and set fire to it. It was beautiful. A flaming corpse reflected off the water. It was a lovely service. So anyway, so I lived down in Brighton. As I said, bought a house recently. That was exciting, but this time I bought a house. Really expensive down there, but we were very patient, and eventually my girlfriend's parents paid for it. We could not afford it, and I love the house. There's just one thing I don't like about it. As you're going through the front door, basically you go up the stairs. And there's a little sort of stairwell bit, and there's a particular window there. If you look out, there's kind of adjoining back gardens to the house opposite. And there's one guy there across. He sleeps with the curtain. He's got no curtains, basically. And he just sleeps all night with the big light on. You can see right into his house. And every now and then, you'll just see him treat himself to a wank. He just doesn't care. You can just see him just there. And... normally I should be disgusted by this, but stand-up comics do festival shows sometimes, and like in Edinburgh and stuff. And for those, you've got to like write a whole hour of new stuff, and you get a bit desperate as deadline approaches. And I like playing little films I've made in mine on my phone that I've made. So what I thought was, I can film him and put him in my show. It'd be really funny. I'll do a bit where I say, I bought a house. Let me give you a tour. Look at the view and just show this man going there. I thought it'd be funny, but nah. Because the problem was I was trying to catch him at it, and it wasn't really reflecting well on me, because I was getting out of bed really late and going up to the window going, oh, he's not doing it. And getting in bed, and my girlfriend was comforting me. Was, oh, it's all right, Michael, try again tomorrow. I'm running out of time. Anyway, I came home really late one night and I looked out the window and he was doing it. Oh, great. And I ran and I got my phone and I was filming him and like zooming it in and getting it all right and everything. When I reviewed the footage, it was just upsetting. Like, it was all grainy. But the worst bit, I could hear my own breathing. I could just hear myself going... And he wasn't properly masturbating either. He was just flicking it occasionally and looking at porn on his phone. Well, that's not enough. But then I saw him he had a proper go at himself, and I heard my own voice going, yeah. I'm not using this. Listen, I'm going to go. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you very much. Cheers.